Hello. I want you to think of a person that you've listened to give a speech. This can be a professor, it can be someone at your church, it can be a family relative at a gathering. Now, I want you to categorize them into either being an extrovert and an introvert. Most people would say that anyone who gives a speech is an extrovert. Why is this? Today I'm going to be talking to you about how introverts make great leaders. So, who's considered an introvert? Most would say an introvert is shy, but the actual definition of an introvert is a person who tends to focus on their inner thoughts and feelings rather than external occurrences. I myself am an introvert. I have less of a tendency when receiving a question or when being told to think about something. I have less of a tendency to go out and ask someone or to go ask my peers for assistance. I'm more likely to think about it on my own and then go and ask for assistance afterwards, after I've processed everything. I like to listen rather than speak. So, why are introverts important? Introverts offer a unique perspective and they contribute to the idea of having a more balanced and insightful society. So, why don't introverts get the credit that they deserve? Introverts make up about 35% of the population in the US. It's not as much as extroverts, but it's still a good amount of people in the US. Introverts are often discredited because leadership itself is associated with being extroverted. Society associates sociability with leadership, which is why extroverts are often seen as better leaders, but this is not the case. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 points on why introverts make great leaders, and in some cases better leaders than extroverts. The first being that they're great listeners. Introverts make great leaders because they are listeners who take into account all perceptions. The second being that they're reflective. Introverts tend to be more reflective and thorough in their decision making, which makes them great leaders. And lastly, they're cautious. Introverts tend to be more cautious and aware, and they're less likely to take risks. So, introverts are great listeners. Introverts are great at listening when they're being spoken to. They take into account all ideas that are being given to them, and then they develop a response. They spend most of their time alone with their thoughts, but when they are around people, they give them their undivided attention. They give their full attention to what is being said by the people around them, by their team, by their followers. According to David Burks, a certified organizational psychologist and fellow introvert, introverted leaders are less focused on being the center of attention and are more focused on making sure that they hear from everyone and that everyone feels heard. Introverts prefer deeper conversation rather than small talk that would go back and forth. And this is important because a true leader takes into account all of their followers' ideas. So, second reason being introverts are reflective and thorough. Introverts naturally prefer to process information internally. They are more independent and self-reliant. An introvert will take a problem and reflect on it by themselves rather than in a group. Sometimes this is considered a negative, but it should be considered a positive because a leader who can't solve problems on their own shouldn't be considered a real leader. They shouldn't be leading. If a leader can't solve a problem, then should they really be the leader? Should they really be the person that everyone's listening to? Introverts prefer receiving information through written communication. An introvert would rather solve a problem by themselves because they're independent. According to Kajal Tyagi, an applied behavioral analysis therapist, introverts don't rely on an external environment for their needs. They are the comfort zone that they need. They are their own comfort. Introverts rely on themselves, which makes them great leaders. Introverts are cautious and aware. Introverts take the time to consider all the possibilities and all angles and outcomes of a situation. An introvert will formulate their ideas based on all aspects, including counter-arguments, including rebuttals. They take into account everything. Introverts are less likely to choose the risky option. An introvert is more likely to choose the safe option because it is what is known, it is what is dependable, it is what is acceptable. According to Suzanne Cain, a published author and a fellow introvert, introverts do not ignore warning signals like extroverts do when it comes to a risky decision. because they know risks can end up being harmful to the people around them, to their followers. Introverts find comfort in factual information with supporting evidence because it is what is known. So, in conclusion, introverts should be considered better leaders than extroverts. Introverts make great leaders because they are attentive listeners, they thoroughly reflect on ideas, and they proceed with caution and awareness when they make decisions. Most of the time, introverts aren't held to the same standard as extroverts because they are seen as shy and unapproachable. But an introvert's ability to show restraint and to be the quietest person in the room and to listen to their peers should be considered a strength, not a weakness. Them not wanting to be the center of attention should be considered a strength because it shows that they are willing to take a step back and to listen to those around them to take accountability for everything, for every possible angle. Today, we redefine leadership as not who can be the loudest in the room, but as who can listen the best to what is being said by their followers. A true leader listens to everyone and takes that into account and leads the pathway for everyone. So, embracing the power that introverts hold will ultimately lead us into a better future, and it will be beneficial for us in the future. Thank you.